Sorry about that.
They all benefited from that grant. They are the environmental restoration team of which you guys finance the fire and climate resilience and restoration team. These are the young men that came out of it. Well, some were young, some were old, some were having a first chance, some were a second chance. But I just wanted to say that we're sort of at a crossroads of conservation, and this is a time where we have an opportunity, especially with given the Altadena fire, we have an opportunity to make a change. And this is what the future will look like in conservation, I'm hoping. These guys have multiple certifications, and it's all due to the support that we've gotten from you guys. Tonight, we're coming to you to develop something, and I won't take up the time to talk about what we're going to develop. Manager will speak to that, and then one of the crew members just wants to thank you. So I just wanted to personally thank you as the executive director and let you know that your funding has been put to good use. And these gentlemen here will attest to that. And then we'll have our project, we'll have one of the guys from the crew come up and thank you. And then we will be out of your hair, okay?
Hey, let's give it up, Sam. Good afternoon. My name is Juan, and I'm an environmental restoration technician with Outward Bound Adventures. And I'm standing here speak for my team and myself. Thank you guys for the opportunity. You guys helped a lot. You have helped me a lot. Right now, I'm currently working with LA with some consultants. I am in an internship with ecologists and biologists, and I'm very grateful for that. And I'm willing to extend my future career with everything I'm learning in the outdoors. Thank you guys so very much.
Hello, everybody. That's very short for me. I am the project manager. My name is Brandon Hammerly for the project that we're talking about today. Just to be clear, we're looking at agenda or discussion item B. That's the one that we are referring to. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the project that OBA has going on. So in Pasadena at Hahamunga Watershed Park, there is a 6.5 acre piece of land that has 6 abandoned buildings on it. They were built by the U.S. Forest Service and abandoned about 20 years ago. And this land is owned by the city of Pasadena. It's called the Annex. It's a 5-minute walk from the Arroyo Seco stream. Has anybody here been to the Arroyo Seco before? Okay, I'm really glad to hear that. It's my favorite place and my son's favorite place. So it's a 5-minute walk from there with trails that access both up and down the Arroyo Seco watershed. So our intention is to take this property and these 6 abandoned buildings and adaptively reuse them. We want to transform them into premier models of sustainable development. And we also want to restore the landscape of this site with the guidance of the San Gabriel Band of Mission Indians, who is a partner of ours in this. And our hope is to also install a low-impact campsite. There's an oak woodland right adjacent to it. That's part of the leased property. And we want to build a low-impact campsite for our Teach Me to Camp program. We take especially single mothers and their families out and teach them how to camp with all the gear that we've acquired over 66 years of service to the community. So our hope is to transform this site into what we call the Climate Resilience Environmental Education Center. At this eco-cultural center, OBA and our partner organizations will be able to expand our reach and the depth of the mission that we've engaged in for the last 66 years. And that is engaging youth and adults from demographics historically excluded from conservation and restoration education and stewardship activities. This center will serve as a regional environmental education and workforce development hub, hosting a full-time training center, which will provide paid on-the-job training in restoration and conservation careers for community members impacted by the Eaton Fire and supporting ecological education of local Black and Brown youth. This training will utilize the landscape and the architectural restoration of the site itself as hands-on learning projects and the entire Arroyo Seco watershed as a world-class ecological learning laboratory. Your funding will allow us to conduct a feasibility study to determine the next clear steps that this phenomenal project can take and becoming a reality. And by doing this, you will be bringing many layers of hope back to our community. So we would love and appreciate the support of this project. Thank you all for your time.
Okay, any other public comments? Nope. Okay, so with that, let me go ahead and close the public comment section of our meeting. And we'll move on to the consent calendar. I do want to note here that 10B is being removed from the consent calendar for discussion and will be discussed separately. So
It's not being removed, it's being pulled.
it's being pulled. My apologies. Yeah, I was rereading it again. So I stand corrected. Thank you, George, for that. So on the consent calendar, we'll take up the approval of the minutes first. And if there's any questions or comments, if not, then I'll ask for a motion in a second. If we can start with the advisory committee, please.
Yes, do I have an emotion for the approval of last month's minutes?
I was present, it does not show.
Okay,
Thank you.
one correction.
Sorry.
Do we have a motion?
So move.
A second?
Second.
Okay. Discussion? No discussion other than the addition. Anybody else, any other names omitted or? No? Okay. James?
Miss Anderson,
Aye.
Miss Brown,
Aye.
Mr. Cacciati,
Yes.
Miss Conrad,
Yes.
Mr. Corridori,
Yes.
Mr. Dennert,
Yes.
Ms. Dransfeld,
Yes.
Miss Fossen,
Yes.
Mr. Garand,
Yes.
Miss James,
Yes.
Mr. Kishbaugh,
Yes.
Mr. Lang,
Yes.
Miss Mikos,
Aye.
Miss Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Wendler,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
that carries.
Okay, thank you. Conservancy members, can I get a motion and a second for the approval of the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Luna, second by Ms. Munoz. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Gurrell,
Yes.
Miss Lyle,
Yes.
Mr. Luna,
Yes.
Miss Drake,
Yes.
Miss Herod,
Stain.
Miss Munoz,
Yes.
Mr. Ortega,
Yes.
Miss Pavley, Mr. Veras,
Yes.
that carries.
Okay, next item is the consideration of a resolution authorizing a comment letter to Los Angeles County Metropolitan Transit Authority regarding the draft environmental impact report for the Metro Sepulveda Transit Corridor Project in the Sepulveda Pass, City of Los Angeles. Advisory members?
Isn't that the one we pulled or no?
Yes, Mr. Lang, I think you had some comments on this item?
Yes, I pulled it for, well, let me do officially, I'd like to pull item 10B, consideration resolution authorizing comment letter to Los Angeles County Metropolitan Transportation Authority regarding a draft environmental impact report for Metro Sepulveda Transit Corridor Project SCH number 20211 as indicated in the staff report in the Sepulveda Pass, City of Los Angeles. After reading the report and looking at the maps and so forth, I knew that I didn't totally understand, or at least didn't understand it to the level I wanted to. So I contacted staff and asked if Paul would make a specific presentation on this item with special focus on the options that he has presented in his draft letter. So Paul?
Thank you. James, by any chance you have it great. This is a special, what this is a compilation of the different alternatives that are being proposed for the transit authority over the Sepulveda Pass from the valley towards Westwood and UCLA. And so in the draft EIR that the MTA put out, you can see in the figures in the staff report, they're very hard to understand. I mean, I couldn't even understand if the routes that go over the 405 freeway, if they even deviated from the freeway right away and the Sepulveda Boulevard right away. And I still think they do not, but maybe they do. So there were 6 alternatives to start. Alternative 2 was thrown out for various reasons. And then alternatives 1 and 3 in purple and light blue follow the 405 freeway. If we can go south a little bit from there too, all the way through the pass. And then alternative 3 deviates right by Leo Beck Temple and actually goes in under the mountain to UCLA. You'll see it in dark blue, fan off of the light blue line, which follows the 405. And that goes into a tunnel at that point to UCLA. And the other light blue thing is all above grade, except for in the valley, some of it's underground. We just concentrate in this letter about what just in the Santa Monica Mountains part. And those two alternatives that go through the 405 definitely have the most impact on the mountain range, assuming that there's no dewatering from the tunneling, which there could happen. And so our simple premise is we asked for the fact that they need a new wildlife crossing in an optimal spot across the 405 in this area, because the trains would just wreak havoc on the Skirball Bridge and some of the other areas. And as a mitigation measure, hard to make the nexus for the tunneling for the purple and red lines and the yellow line alternatives 4, 5, and 6 to require a tunnel. Require a bridge over the 405. The purple one and the yellow alternatives, see how they go to the left of Stone Canyon Reservoir to the west? The red alternative is, I think, alternative 6, and that actually requires a vent shaft by Lower Stone Canyon Reservoir where they would take out, I think it's 7 acres of oak woodland, of walnut woodland, and another ½ acre of oak woodland for a vent shaft. And none of the other 2 alternatives through underground have a vent shaft. So it's a pretty big impact in a core habitat area right by a water source to take out that much walnut woodland. And those are the 5 alternatives that are through there. I mean, I can answer more questions. There isn't that much detail about what would happen underground at all. I think they're about 550 feet underneath the surface. And other than the tree impacts from that alternative 6 by Stone Canyon Reservoir, they don't say anything about dewatering like Hogue Canyon or Dixie Canyon or any of the water sources in the sort of the mid-eastern Santa Monica Mountains. So available for any questions.
Yeah, Roseanne.
So have you had an opportunity to talk to any of these people yet, Paul, to know whether they understand what you're saying yet? In this, even I realize their letter hasn't come through, but I would think that maybe you've checked in with who the powers that be are. And do you think there's any chance they'll really do a wildlife bridge?
Well, I don't think that the level of the MTA staff Metro staff that's dealing with this right now are going to give me that kind of feedback. But I've been dealing with the staff on this, I think, since pre-pandemic, as far as all that, and mentioning this kind of thing. So we always put it on the table. No mention of it, of course, in the EIR because they don't want to do it. So it's going to be a political will, and whatever happens as this comes to hearing and the final EIR and comments made and whatever momentum can be gathered. If they do go with the above ground monorail through the pass, then it's, no holds barred to try and get the mitigation for some kind of overpass.
How many people are on their board in terms of whether or not any of us should be lobbying anyone?
Oh, I'm guessing, I think there's at least 8 people on the Metro board, 4 appointed by the city, couple county people and other people from the various cities.
Well, I do think that whoever the right people might be to talk to them, we ought to consider that, because this sounds really important, because it looks like they will destroy the whole mountain lion habitat if they don't do something.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty strong nexus to do that as a mitigation measure, particularly if it means not having to do some of the mitigation measures on the existing crossings like at Skirball Bridge and Sepulveda Boulevard and all that, if they can round it all up and focus it in on a one overpass as opposed to dinking around with small dimensional stuff in traffic lanes, that might be a good idea. Yeah.
Has there been, have you guys done some what did the public feel about this? Is there any opposition or are they all on board?
I haven't been following it that closely. It's mostly I mean, I can just tell you anecdotally, reading the paper, the neighborhoods in Sherman Oaks are all battling how much they want underground and above ground, getting from the orange line, or now the G line, I guess, on the busway across the valley to get to below Valley Vista and to go underneath the mountains. That's where the controversy seems to be. As far as I probably should know more about who's pro monorail and who's pro tunnel. I think the people living underneath where the tunnels would be don't want the tunnels. That's pretty safe to say.
There's a lot of back and forth going on right now, specifically because alternative 6 is what's preferred by Metro, to be frank. And so at this point, it's a lot of the West Side communities. Bel Air and Beverly Glen have said the same, their concern over tunneling, as well as communities like Brentwood. So, there's a lot of back and forth right now.
Okay, no. Yeah, so which one is 6? On
6 is the red one
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Okay,
that goes by Lower Stone Canyon Reservoir.
right.
That's the one you said, don't do that no matter what, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's in the letter, that seems like a bad alternative to take out that much walnut woodland.
Yep.
And why they're putting the vent shaft there when there's so much open ground by Lower Stone Canyon Reservoir? That doesn't make any sense. How EIR preparers pick alternatives is always a mystery to me. But there's a lot of politics and method into the madness, that's for sure. So I'm not sure why they had to do the vent shaft there.
Great. Any other comments? I can't see folks at the River Center, but are there any other questions or comments from the River Center?
No hands here.
Okay, so can we get a motion on this guy? Now that we've pulled it.
I'll first of all make a comment to thank Paul for sticking in there and, taking care of this comment letter and so forth. Very much appreciated. And if anybody in the staff will, echo or support that. If you have any comments or questions after tonight's little hearing, please contact staff and give them your input. With that, I'll make a motion to.
Just wanted to say, Mr. Lang, that there is one more Conservancy meeting scheduled prior to when the comments are due, if we wanted to put in additional comments in the draft DIR comment period. That's all.
Perfect.
Okay, so George has a first. Do I have a second from anyone?
Second the motion, Roseanne.
Excellent. And can we get, since we already had our discussion, can we get our vote on this, please?
Ms. Anderson?
Aye.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cacciati?
Yes.
Ms. Conrad?
Yes.
Mr. Corridori?
Yes.
Mr. Dennert?
Yes.
Ms. Dransfeld?
Yes.
Ms. Fossen?
Yes.
Mr. Garand?
Yes.
Ms. James?
Yes.
Mr. Kishbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Ms. Mykos?
Aye.
Ms. Nelson?
Abstain.
Mr. Wendler?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
That carries.
Okay, thank you. Conservancy members. Questions or comments on this item?
Yes, I had a comment.
I think I have a comment. This is Irma Munoz. I just don't think we have enough information. I mean, I know people have been studying it and reporting and evaluating, but I thought it was a very short presentation considering all that can happen there and the concern of the residents. I will be a no vote because I think I need more information. It just wasn't thorough enough for me to understand the implications for so much that's going on there. Thank you.
Okay, I thought I heard someone at King Gillette interested in a comment.
Yes,
Ms. Pavley, I'm sorry, we can't hear you out here.
Thank you, more clearly. When I first looked at this too, it was sort of overwhelming, and I looked at all the different alternatives, and I know the concept of getting from UCLA in the 405 area into the valley because of the 405 Sepulveda problem has been around for decades. And Wendy Sue Rosen isn't here, but if you talk to anyone that lives within a few miles of that corridor. It's a problem, but what is our role as a conservancy? It's the issues that Paul was focusing on in the letter, and I had to remind myself that the other parts of this project will be viewed at through different lenses, and needed to remind myself I was looking through it through the conservancy lens, and that was, I appreciate bringing up the water supply, because I'm concerned that Metro may not be looking at that. And that could be important environmentally, as well as a source of potentially of water directly or indirectly for public consumption or the LA River or different things. So I was going to support this today, but it is complex. It's very political. It'll be in front of Metro, and I'm sure it'll be discussed for a long period of time. But I'll be supporting this today as an appropriate response from the Conservancy in this part of time. If we find out something more, Paul, in the next month, please bring it up, because I appreciate Mr. Lang bringing it up today, because I was going to suggest pulling it off for 1 month to just have at least a short discussion to understand what we can review as a Conservancy member and on this very controversial project. I grew up south of Ventura Boulevard in Sherman Oaks, about 2 miles from there. I can imagine what the homeowners are saying. And is this Assemblymember Irwin's district? Is she? Yes. So you appreciate this even more.
I have heard, yes,
Yeah.
from many residents.
All right, thanks.
Mr. Chair, this is Jeff Gorell. To Senator Pavley's point, I just have a question, and that is, this is again, a very complicated issue, really affects the backbone of the real estate that we're responsible for conserving. It touches upon water, it touches upon migration, it touches upon trees, it touches upon everything. It almost feels like it's one of those issues that's so complicated and such a massive impact that is there a history of employing a consultant to bring in to support our understanding of the impacts to better inform to better inform the board and the advisory board as to what kind of mitigations, what kind of offsets. Not to say that staff isn't a subject matter expert in these issues, but you're having to track on so many different things. This is the biggest I've seen in terms of impact to the Conservancy in my short tenure here on the board. And I'm just curious if there's a history of, or any kind of indication that maybe we might want to reach out and get something if we've reached our capacity, like a consultant.
Good idea.
And maybe that's a question to staff and
Well, I think so much depends on whether this board wants to concern itself with the portions of the project outside of the Santa Monica Mountains, which I think you could, you might have to hire 10 consultants for. And maybe that won't even help. So that's the first question. And the differences, the tunneling differences, it's pretty impossible to get more information to tell you how much more that's going to affect one alternative versus the other. So probably tunneling is, other than the one through Stone Canyon Reservoir, tunneling will probably have the same impacts. If you wanted to know more about how the monorail will, going down both the side of the 405 and the center of the 405, how that will impact the existing places where wildlife cross and potentially new ones. Yeah, I could see where that you could get more detail on that. I can tell you that nobody's put more effort in it than myself about those micro issues of the 405 crossing. And there are diagrams in the draft EIR that are just down to the details, incredible, of each stop, for instance. But what goes on between the stops and all that is, there's a real dearth of information in the draft EIR. So to get back to the question, do we need a consultant? I don't know, maybe what it would help me to know what questions the advisory committee and the board have about, they don't have a good handle on as far as what the impacts would be. You know, can't visualize it. So maybe a presentation actually from somebody from the MTA to show you the project, more so than a consultant opining on it per se.
That might be helpful, and any other viewpoints from any other organizations that are out there, the NRDC, people, I know that there's other people in this universe out there that are watching this and opining on it through the EIR process. Any kind of input that they're providing, I think would be helpful. I think this is big. So.
At this point, the way this letter is constructed, it's not taking a do this or do that. Other than that, if you go with the monorail, build the bridge over the freeway. Just do it, you know, flat out. Really simple equation. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's really the only really definitive statement staff is making here. And that on the tunneling, saying, you know, the EIR is inadequate. If there's only a little bit more information about how they think it might dewater I think the 4 or 5 perennial funding water sources I mentioned in the letter. And so there are other angles to this, but really those are the mountain angles that are in there and that we theoretically can have some input on and have an effect on. And though.
I just want to plant the seed, I guess. So thank you for answering the question. And
I have a quick question. Thank you, Paul, for the presentation. There is no wildlife bridge crossing right now.
No dedicated wildlife bridge other than the 8-foot wide DG special lane put on the south side of the Skirball Center Bridge.
Okay, so wildlife can't cross it as is right now.
They can
To get
to some degree.
Park and stuff, yeah.
Okay.
And turns out the most wildlife action that the National Park Service cameras that I've seen for the most part are at the Bel Air Crest entrance beneath the freeway by their guard gatehouse.
Thank you.
So there are cameras, so there's a lot of data.
So what about Caltrans? Won't they have to be involved in this project since it's at the 405, depending upon what the items are?
They will be, but for some reason on these projects, and the same with the 405 widening, that Metro was the lead agency.
Well, because with respect to wildlife and bridges, who has more experience right now other than us and Caltrans in the area? It would seem like they would have something they could say. And maybe we should be lobbying them. I don't know.
Paul, let me jump in real quick, just because I know there was already a vote from the advisory committee to go ahead and make this comment letter. I do have a comment from a Conservancy member.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion. Thank you, Paul. I think the letter is focused on what our scope of purview is. And as someone else stated, you know, others will comment on, you know, their view for this project. So I'd like to make a motion to support it.
Okay, I'll take the motion on the floor. I think we have definitely a desire to have quite a bit of dialogue here. This letter, I take it as a first foray into the commentary period. That's actually what the AR is for, to take comments from bodies like us and as well as the public in general. I do, as we have a motion, first of all, let me ask for a second.
Jeff Grow, second.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Grow. I will make the comment that there's the funds for this come from a voter approved transit sales tax. And this is a project identified. So it's some way, not the details for it, but the fact that there's something through the Sepulveda to pass. You know, I've had a chance to make this commute to UCLA for grad school for several years, so I know it very well. And certainly, you know, for option 6, that's a Van Nuys Boulevard pass, not necessarily Sepulveda pass. So it's a very interesting conversation that's taking place through the rest of the system. And the goal is to integrate the pass with the rest of Metro. So I know there's a lot of desires here, but I think Senator Pavley said it really well, where you know, we have a responsibility with the agency that really cover, we have the river and the mountains here that it traverses and crosses. And if we can sort of stick to our commentary there, respect the voters' desire to have a Sepulveda Pass transit corridor, which we hope takes cars and, you know, mostly passenger cars off the road. But I think we can certainly make very positive and important comments related to wildlife, related to sort of the river, even fire resiliency, potentially, depending on how way some of these things go. But this is a start, and certainly we can explore the need for additional expertise when it comes to that section. But I'd caution us to go too far away from our rivers and mountain here. So with that, if there's no other comments, I'll ask for a vote here, and we'll begin this long-term dialogue about the Sepulveda Basin, or Sepulveda Pass, I should say. Okay, seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Gorell?
Yes.
Ms. Lyle?
Yes.
Mr. Luna?
Yes.
Ms. Drake?
Yes.
Ms. Harrod?
Abstain.
Ms. Munoz?
Abstain.
Mr. Ortega?
Yes.
Ms. Pavley?
Yes.
Mr. Veras?
Yes.
That carries with 2 abstentions.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to discussion item A, which is the consideration of a resolution approving the final budget for fiscal year 2025, 2026 of the Mountains Recreation and Conservation Authority. You can have a staff report, please.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair, board members, and the advisory committee. It's a pleasure seeing you all. I'm Melissa Smith from Canea Rec and Park. Tonight, we have the final MRCA budget for the fiscal year 2025, 2026. I know you have a lot on your agenda and a closed session, so I'll do my best to keep this brief. Before I dive into the numbers, as you all know, the MRCA is a joint powers authority made up of the Conservancy, the Canea Recreation and Park District, and the Rancho Simi Recreation and Park District. As such, the annual budget is submitted to all the JPA members as well as the MRCA board. The 3 other boards have all received the budget that you have before you. So tonight, the Conservancy is the final approval of the fiscal year 25-26 budget. So I'll briefly go through each of the documents that were submitted and then answer any questions you might have. So the very first page is a short kind of overall budget summary. The revenues are broken down into 2 categories. Very simply, funds we expect to receive at $81.7 million, and the use of reserves, or in other words, our savings from prior years, at $400,000, making the total revenue $82.1 million. Expenses are broken down into 8 different categories. The top 3 categories are grants, land acquisition and improvements, and of course, personnel. Those expenses also total $82.1 million, bringing us to our balanced budget. The next page in the packet, we dive more into those revenue details. Again, you'll see the largest categories are grants, both from the Conservancy and other organizations. I wanted to note that that includes about $20 million for the Liberty Canyon Wildlife Crossing and another $7 million for project management of various camps being rebuilt after wildfires. And those are through grants provided by the Natural Resources Agency. Additionally, I want to highlight some reduced assumptions for enterprise revenues compared to prior years, specifically for parking and filming. Parking revenue has been impacted by the January fires, and we expect that to continue into this year. And filming revenue has just not seen the anticipated kind of post-COVID bounce back we'd been hoping for. So our numbers reflect those reduced amounts. Finally, I just want to mention that the budgeted use of reserves is in accordance with the MRCA reserve policy. That policy is renewed annually with the MRCA board in conjunction with the audited financial statements, and that was done last month. On the expense side, on the next page, we've got those broken down in more detail for you as well. Again, those largest categories are grants, land and improvement projects, including the wildlife corridor and the camp rebuilds. Additionally, the increase in salaries and benefits are primarily due to new positions, filling vacancies, and a COLA. You will also see an offset amount for to account for any savings that would result from typical vacancies throughout the year. Finally, the bulk of the budget, it's 7 pages of the by task budget. This is quite literally the list of the 222 specific projects that MRCA is planning to work on this year. I also just want to point out that each of those 222 projects have a unique code and multiple subcodes under them that staff get to track and manage throughout the year. So just a shout out to finance staff and the division heads who help us stay on that budget. So That's the MRCA budget for fiscal year 25-26, and I'm available for any questions you might have.
Advisory Committee.
Yes, can I get a nomination, a movement on this budget?
Sean, I think your mic's off.
Yes, thank you. How could you tell? I was so quiet. Yeah, so can I get a motion here?
Bill Graham, motion to approve the budget.
Excellent. And can we get a second?
Ed Cordori, I'll second.
Sean, before we do it, I was waiting to make sure there wasn't questions, but I do have a brief comment.
Yeah, good, please go.
I do plan to vote for it. It came before us for Rancho Simi and our board approved it. I did mention at that time, I'm concerned about access to investments in Malibu. And what I mean by that is if I'm representing Rancho Simi and we're investing in access points to Malibu, I want to make sure going forward and in the future, we continue to have that access. And as I've heard discussions that could change things around with Caltrans, I'm a little bit nervous of putting money into projects to find out later, well, there's no parking anywhere nearby, but there's a nice staircase there. My patience is not infinite, but I've got a very long patience and I've been educated about many of the issues from the Malibu perspective from Halen, who has joined us. So I appreciate her there. So I do plan to vote for it tonight, but I'll be skeptical and carefully reading over it to make sure that in the future we don't invest in properties that are locked off from public access.
I also had some questions.
Yeah, please.
Thank you. And thank you, Ryan, for that. Will we get breakdowns of the specific projects in which money is allocated? Or, I mean, I think the budget looks, good. I just want to know how much are we involved in the projects?
So the list of the seven, there's 7 pages of the final management budget by tasks, and those list the individual projects that we're working on. So if you wanted more detail than that, you can let me know which of those task numbers you would like more info on, and I can get back to you at a later date.
Terrific. Yeah, I would be very interested. Maybe Ryan, I can talk about his concerns as well. That answers my question. Thank you.
Awesome. Any other comment? Yeah, Ed.
A question about the investment income, which is in the budget, 250,000. But in the previous 2 years, the actual has been 2 million. What has changed?
So a couple things. So part of it is we don't want to try to bet on the market, right? But also the amount of funds that we had in our investment accounts has reduced dramatically since then. So for the first 2 years, we had funds that were advanced to us. We had funds that we had set aside for specific purposes, and those have been being spent. So our balances are actually lower than they have been in the past 4 years. And so that's why we're assuming a lower investment income. And we also just don't want to assume an outstanding performance of the market.
Are these investments largely money market funds? What are they?
So they're all investments that are controlled by the government code. We primarily use CalTrust, but the biggest chunk of money is it's about 4.5 million that the MRCA set aside in a 115 trust that is set aside for pension obligations. And so a large part of that is specifically to address the pension liabilities of the MRCA.
I have one other question on the sale of assets and the actual revenues. It's 8,950,000 actual for the last fiscal year. What was sold?
Yes, so that's note 3 there, and that was the sale of Deer Creek Beach or the Mansdorf property to the National Park Service. So that was that change.
Great. Other comments? Anybody at the River Center? Okay, can we get a vote, James?
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cacciati?
Yes.
Ms. Conrad?
Yes.
Mr. Corridori?
Yes.
Mr. Denner?
Yes.
Ms. Dransfeld?
Yes.
Ms. Fossen?
Yes.
Mr. Garant?
Yes.
Ms. James?
Yes.
Mr. Kishbaugh?
Yes.
Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Ms. Mikos?
Aye.
Ms. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Wendler?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
That carries.
Conservancy member, can I get a motion and a second on this item?
So moved, Grill.
Second Munoz. Okay, any questions or comments?
I have a question.
Ms. Pavley?
Yes, this is just for a point of clarification, two of them. The Prop 4 grants totaling about 12 grand. Have we already received those, or but this is for fiscal year 25, 26?
Correct. So there were Prop 4 grants that were awarded from the April, and forgive me, I don't remember the bill number, that early action Prop 4 allocation. So those have been awarded, but others are ones that we have applications in process for. And that's where you'll see there's like a new /TBD indicator on the task list.
Oh, I see. So that combines both of those options.
Correct.
I got it. Thank you for that. I was trying to figure it out. And then the other is just for point of clarification too. You have a whole bunch of categories and different items under vegetation management, which wildfire related probably. Like item, I don't know, 1121 or 138, 170, different. I just didn't know why there were all these different categories. Are those different locations and different projects? And in
sometimes
general, has that money increased over the last year or two with the need for more mitigation dollars for vegetation management and wildfires?
Yes, so typically the task numbers are provided because of a specific funding source for a specific location. So each line typically will represent a different grant or a different funding source, like a CFD or something for that specific project. And yes, there's been definitely much more vegetation management and wildfire resiliency money is a much larger portion of this year's budget than in prior years.
So if someone wanted to know if there was money for the Topanga area, you could assist them and you would know which number that related to in the budget.
Yes, and chances are we'd probably have a few different funding sources, and then we'd talk to our division chiefs to figure out which ones in particular if you wanted that info.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Gorell,
Yes.
Ms. Lyle,
Yes.
Mr. Luna,
Yes.
Ms. Drake,
Yes.
Ms. Harrod,
Yes.
Ms. Munoz.
Yes.
I'm sorry, was that a yes?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega,
Yes.
Ms. Pavley,
Yes.
Mr. Veras,
Yes.
that carries.
Okay, thank you. Next item is 11B, consideration of a resolution authorizing a grant to Outward Bound Adventures for planning the Climate Resilience Environmental Education Center at the former U.S. Forest Service Complex in the Arroyo Seco, Pasadena. Staff report, please.
Mr. Chairman and members, I think Charles Thomas and Brandon from OBA outlined the project. This is a really ambitious project, and certainly anyone who's seen those old Forest Service buildings in the Arroyo Seco know that they have a big task on their hands to actually do the upgrade. This grant is only $250,000 for actually the initial planning, not for actually creating the project itself.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Conservancy member, advisory members.
Yes, can I get a motion before we discuss?
I have some questions if I can. Hi, Stephanie Fossen from La Cañada. The Cajamonga Park is actually very near and dear to, I think, all of La Cañada residents. We don't have a lot of park space in La Cañada per se, and Cajamonga is literally right across the street. So a question and a comment, if I may. The question is, there's an equestrian center, I believe, in the area that's currently under consideration, and I'm curious to know what will happen to that facility should these plans go forward.
Brandon or Charles could.
Yeah, if you can come forward.
Come to the microphone.
You come up to the microphone.
Created for our programming, something that we're working with. and maybe enhance what they're doing, but.
Just speak so they can hear you at the other place. The other side can't hear you. Yeah. So they can hear you.
Oh, I'm talking to the other side, huh? To answer her question, she said, what's going to happen to the equestrian program that's there? Nothing at all. Our intention is to restore the building so that we can build an environmental education center and work closely with the tenants that are there now.
Wonderful, wonderful. And then my comment is, given how close this is to La Cañada, we've got a lot of traffic issues along there. We've got folks going to JPL to work. We've got La Cañada High School right there and the daily drop off and pickup. There is the CEC, which is Child Educational Center, which provides daycare for many JPL and Caltech employees. And we've got a private school right there, literally right across the street from Hahamungna. And so one of the things that I would appreciate is if, as a part of this review, we could look at traffic patterns and make sure we're taking that into account as we're thinking about the kinds of activities and the numbers of people, et cetera, that will be coming in and out. I did see there was something for transportation there. I think that's fantastic. But I think given how tight it is just at certain times of the day, it would be very helpful to have some look at that as well.
We are indeed looking at the types of uses that we haven't developed that yet, but I think you probably noticed that there is going to be a stop on that line from the new transportation system that Nature for All is putting in and going up into the Angeles. So yeah, we are going to look at transportation flow and patterns, depending on the programming that we have there.
Appreciate it.
That's part of the feasibility study as well.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, or Mr. Anderson, your side? Anybody else here? No? Good.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Yeah. So I got a motion to approve. Yeah, get a second.
Second, Rosen
Wendler at the River Center.
Oh, sorry. Did you guys have a comment at the River Center? Couldn't hear you.
That was a second.
Second.
Okay. Oh man, so many seconds. Wow, it's great.
And I have two brief comments on it. The first one is I believe there might be a typo, or it could just be a grammatical issue, but I think that could be addressed. I'm looking at page 67, and it says, by offering robust workforce development programs to prepare participants from advantaged and severely disadvantaged communities. I assume that it tends to read from disadvantaged and severely disadvantaged.
Yes.
That not, so my understanding is my motion would be to approve it with the typo. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
The second part is on the next page. I made the motion. I strongly support this. I think they do good work. I could see where this is going. I support the vision of it, but I'll say from a teacher's perspective, when we get advertised programs and only some of our students could do it, well, then none of our students sometimes do it because their best friends can't do it. So that line where it says, as well as disadvantaged communities of color from South Los Angeles, I would support in the future if we just leave it at disadvantaged communities so that it's targeting any disadvantaged community that there might be. But those are my two comments on that.
Thank you. See no other comments, James?
Mr. Declan, Floyd has a comment. If you'd like to go ahead and make those comments now.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll be brief. I just want to say thank you to Charles and all the fine people in the back of the room there at the River Center for bringing this forward, and everyone who has gotten us to this point. This is a really important project, and we're just the beginning of what's going to be a long road to make sure that we can have a center, especially in the aftermath of the Eaton fire, where we can train the next generation of the conservation workforce, as well as provide some really important environmental education, and of course, above all, provide access to open space and protected lands for people who might not otherwise have access to them. So this is a really important project for not just for Pasadena and Assemblymember Harbedian's district, but really for our entire region. And I think that this model, once we get to the end of the project, can help set the standard for future projects along these lines. So on behalf of Assemblymember Harbedian, very proud to support this item, and thanks to everyone who got us to this point.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Anderson? Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cacciati?
Yes.
Ms. Conrad,
Yes.
Mr. Corridori.
Yes.
Mr. Dennert.
Yes.
Ms. Dransfeld.
Yes.
Ms. Fossen,
Yes.
Mr. Grand,
Yes.
Ms. James,
Yes.
Mr. Kishpa,
Yes.
Mr. Lang,
Yes.
Ms. Mikos,
Aye.
Ms. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Wendler,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
That carries.
Okay, Conservancy members, some motion in a second.
I'll
Motion by
over-
Ms. Munoz,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Ortega. Any questions or comments? Ms. Munoz?
Always amazed at Mr. Thomas when you come.
Ms. Munoz, can you please turn your microphone on?
Top one, top one.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. I'm always amazed with Mr. Thomas comes before us because he always brings such heroic and historic and incredible projects that not only impacts La Madre Tierra, Mother Earth, but impacts individuals, people. And so it's always so great to see that he comes with the people so that we know who they are and they can know who we are. So I think that we need to start creating more partnerships and knowing who does that hard work they're going to be doing. So I'm glad that you brought them because I think it links us to the reality of the folks that do that hard work. And because it is a very hard work, it's very challenging work, but it's work that comes from the soul and it heals the mind while we're out there because we're at a time where we've got a lot of mental health issues, a lot of stress, trying to deal with everything that's going on. So I applaud each and every one of you and look forward to the next project you bring before us. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all. We deeply appreciate it.
Great.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, and I'll echo, this vote is made much easier with your presentation and with all of you here in the crowd. So thank you for coming here. And with that, let's do a roll call.
Mr. Gorell?
Yes.
Ms. Lyle?
Yes.
Mr. Luna?
Absolutely.
Ms. Drake?
Yes.
Ms. Harrod?
Yes.
Ms. Munoz?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega?
Yes.
Ms. Pavley?
Yes.
Mr. Veras?
Yes.
That carries.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, next item, 11C, is consideration of a resolution authorizing a grant of Prop 68 funds to the Arroyo and Foothills Conservancy for the acquisition of APM 2543-021-017 in the habitat linkage between Big Tahunga Wash and the Verdugo Mountains in the city of Los Angeles. I will note for the record, it was sent to us by email. There was a letter of support from Senator Perez's office as well. So with that, if we can get a staff report.
I think you have it off.
Your mic is off.
Yep.
Maybe this is better. Okay. We recommend that this be postponed for 1 month. Give us an opportunity to further discuss some issues with the applicant. There are a number of issues that have to be addressed in a Proposition 68 grant, and we want to be able to appropriately address those. So we would recommend a 1 month postponement of this item.
Okay. Okay, if there's no objections, Sean, I guess.
Yeah, I don't see any objections on this side.
And any objections from Conservancy members? Okay, seeing none, we'll postpone this item until next month. Next item, 11D, is a consideration of a resolution authorizing a grant to the Mountains Recreation and Conservation Authority for Pacoima Headworks Natural Park in the city of Los Angeles. There's a staff report there.
Good evening, Chairperson, members of the board and advisory committee. My name is Rebecca Correa, and I'm a project manager at MRCA in the Watershed Planning and Park Development Division. Today's item is a Prop 1 grant application for the Pacoima Headworks Natural Park Project to support completion of the construction documents and construction readiness. The Pacoima Headworks Natural Park Project was identified as an opportunity area in the Upper Los Angeles River and Tributaries Revitalization Plan. It received funding for planning and design from the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy General Fund back in 2022. Since then, the MRCA, along with Pacoima Beautiful and Studio MLA, they've worked closely with the community members and tribes to transform an underutilized 3-acre portion of the Spreading Grounds property into a multi-benefit water capture and natural habitat recreation park for a disadvantaged community. The design incorporates both on and off-site stormwater capture, orchards, picnic and nature play areas, and walking loops. The funding requested would support finalizing the design review process, completion of the construction drawing set and applicable permitting review process, and as well as construction readiness activities. It will also support ongoing engagement with the community in coordination with the LA County Supervisorial District 3 and Los Angeles City Council Districts 6 and 7. Thank you for your consideration for the grant application, and I welcome any questions.
Okay, advisory committee.
Yes, any questions or comments? See none, can I get a motion?
Corridor, I'll move approval.
And can we get a second? A second, all right, great. And James, roll call.
Ms. Anderson, Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Cacciati,
Yes.
Ms. Conrad,
Yes.
Mr. Corridori,
Yes.
Mr. Dennert,
Yes.
Ms. Dransfeld,
Yes.
Ms. Fossen,
Yes.
Mr. Guerin,
Yes.
Ms. James, Mr. Kishbaugh,
Yes.
Mr. Lang,
Yes.
Ms. Mikos,
Aye.
Ms. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Wendler,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
that carries.
Okay, Conservancy members, is there a motion and a second on this item?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Munoz, with the motion and a second.
Second.
Mr. Ortega, any questions or comments?
One question. Remind me,
Probably.
county bond measure,
No, state.
a state one.
Yeah.
How long ago was that,
I
Lori?
think it was 2014.
2014, okay. So there's still some money out there.
Yes.
You
Especially
have
for
to
LA River.
tailor it. Oh, LA River. Yeah, that's the category. Number.
Okay, any other questions or comments? See none, roll call vote?
Mr. Gorell?
Yes.
Ms. Lyle?
Yes.
Mr. Luna?
Yes.
Ms. Drake?
Yes.
Ms. Harrod?
Yes.
Ms. Munoz?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega?
Yes.
Ms. Pavley?
Yes.
Mr. Veras?
Yes.
That carries.
Okay, item 11E is consideration of a resolution authorizing an augmentation to grant 3810 P011774 for Reseda Park project planning and design. Staff report.
Good evening, Chairperson, members of the board, and members of the advisory committee. My name is Isabella Noriega, and I am a project manager at MRCA in the Park Development and Planning Division. The item before you is a request for a Prop 1 grant augmentation for the Reseda Park project planning and design to support completion of design development, construction documents, permitting, and continued agency coordination for this project. Reseda Park is owned and operated by the City of Los Angeles Department of Recreation and Parks in the West San Fernando Valley. The project received an initial Prop 1 grant for planning and design from the Conservancy in 2017. MRCA has since worked with SWA Landscape Architects to develop a design concept informed by a community engagement phase that spanned from 2018 through 2020. The community feedback was incorporated to inform a final design that includes attention to native vegetation to encourage the presence of local fauna through native habitat development. It includes storm diversion for groundwater infiltration and stormwater treatment that will reduce the number of pollutants presently draining into the LA River untreated. The additional funding requested would support the project's design development and construction document phase, permitting, and construction admin support. MRCA will continue to coordinate with the City of Los Angeles Department of Recreation and Parks and other regulatory agencies as identified for the project. Thank you for your consideration for this Prop 1 grant augmentation request.
Okay, advisory committee.
Yeah. Any questions for our presenter? Okay, seeing none, can I get a motion on this? So, thank you. Number 2, can I get a second?
Second, Roseanne Micus.
Thanks, Roseanne. And can we get a vote, James?
Miss Anderson, Miss Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Cacciati,
Yes.
Miss Conrad,
Yes.
Mr. Corridori.
Yes.
Mr. Dennert.
Yes.
Ms. Dransfeld.
Yes.
Ms. Fossen,
Yes.
Mr. Garan.
Yes.
Miss James. Mr. Kishba.
Yes.
Mr. Lang,
Yes.
Ms. Micos,
Aye.
Miss Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Wendler,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
That carries.
Okay, Conservancy members, is there a motion and a second for this item?
I'll move approval of file item 1.
Thank you. Motion by Pavli,
Second.
second by Munoz. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Mr. Gorell,
Yes.
Miss Lyle,
Yes.
Mr. Luna,
Yes.
Miss Drake,
Yes.
Miss Harrod,
Yes.
Miss Munoz,
Yes.
Mr. Ortega,
Yes.
Miss Pavli,
Yes.
Mr. Veras.
Yes.
That carries.
Okay, great. Thank you. We're going to go back to reports here. For the chairperson's report, I just want to extend my appreciation, Joe, to the entire team and the partners here. I got a chance on my way into the meeting to see the remnants of a wildfire up in Elephant Hill. And so I know there was quite a bit of effort to handle it. We've had Elephant Hill on our agenda for the past couple months. So I guess it's way of letting us know it's there and needs action. But tremendous coordination and collaboration. I know even our ranger here, Mr. Gomez, just came from there as well before for this meeting. So with that, again, extended appreciation for all the staff and partners that were working on that project. Next is the Coastal Commission. Is there a report?
No report.
Okay, Coastal Conservancy,
No report.
Attorney General, National Park Service.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Just a couple of things. I was gonna report that, we are sort of in fire season, obviously in full swing. I had the pleasure about 10 days ago to be out and observe the fire readiness review for the National Park Service. So every year our engine has to go through a readiness review in order to be deemed ready to go on off-park incidents. And so they passed that, and very quickly after have been sent on an off-park assignment. They are up north on a fire in Northern California. The park has also been sending a lot of single resource people out. We have our IT specialist is out on a fire up north, helping connect computers for firefighters who are fighting for the people planning the fire, and also sending some security out to fires and things. So we're happy to be supporting sort of that larger national effort from here, even though we don't have any too much local activity. And then just wanted to invite you all. I always try to give you one fun event that you could do coming up. So this Saturday, we are hosting Park After Dark, and it is at Peter Strauss Ranch from 7 to 10. And you can come, it's a family event, do some activities, junior ranger things, and look through telescopes and learn about night sky issues and other things related to wildlife. So hope you'll join us if you can.
Great, thank you. Next is State Parks.
No report.
Okay. Forest Service report.
Wow, that's good.
Yes, I'm here, but it's last.
Forest Service report.
No report.
And Executive Director's report.
Mr. Chairman and members, we had a very sad situation almost a week and a half ago. There was a tragic loss of a young child who was attending a private summer camp here at King Gillette Ranch. It's about the worst thing that can happen in a park, especially a park that we've had so much to do with. think all of our hearts are with the children's family, friends, everybody who's affected by this tragedy. The safety and well-being of children and adults in our park is the highest priority that we can possibly have. And we're working closely with Washington County Sheriff, who's investigating this incident, and the appropriate agencies to understand exactly what happened. And we are fully committed to supporting a thorough and transparent investigation. At this very difficult time for all of the Santa Monica Mountains community, we grieve alongside the family. They're in our thoughts and our prayers. And we will share more information with you when that becomes available.
Thank you.
Joe, you had also asked Fernando to make a presentation. Shall we go forward with that?
I'm sorry, what?
You had asked Fernando to make a presentation.
Okay.
Okay, Fernando, you're up.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Fernando Gomez. I'm the Chief Ranger with the MRCA. Actually, it's going to be a presentation that's going to be up on the screen for everyone. I was actually asked to discuss or to share some of the staff that's actually goes out on these deployments. You just heard our executive director talking about safety and how seriously we take and how impactful when things like this happen. So we definitely on the 4th of July, has a higher risk of any fire starts. Our agency takes that extremely seriously. This year, we, like no other different, we're expecting a crowd, very big crowds, given that it's the weekend. It was on a Friday. So here's some of our staff. This is one of those holidays that actually from throughout, at least in operations, in our fire division, are both, we don't take days off that day. We start at about noon, some of us, and we'll go till 4 or 5 in the morning, then the following day. Just to be committed to the safety that's actually, or the requirements out there. So as the next slide, please. Some of the staff that's actually going out there, their main duties are, again, to focus on this crew right here was out on the Lechuza Beach and the Malibu area. So we do staff up with rangers, rangers, public officers, and some of our maintenance folks to ensure that our eyes are actually out there. Majority of our staff are wildland firefighters. They're trained. They have all their equipment ready to go. And again, if there are any the calls that come up, we're there to support either the outside agencies as we're moving forward. Next slide. Again, not only do we, of course, trash cans get full, and so we do have to make sure that their trash cans are being emptied. Next. Again, just some scenes of our rangers out there in the evenings, making sure that folks are, enjoying the 4th of July and doing that safely. Next. Some of our wildland firefighters from the fire division they do go out with us. In total, from the fire division and our operations division, there was a total about approximately 80 employees working that day, just specifically for any calls that would come up or any fires or anything that was actually going to be coming up. We were, getting ready for it. So again, all the staff here gets prepped up, doing some pre-deployment stuff, and just make sure that all the equipment is ready. So when that call comes, we're not having to gear up or anything else. We're all ready to go. Next. Again, some of our other photos. Again, if you see where that top left, that is San Vicente, which again, we all know that the Palisades fire. So that was one of the scenes there. But this is, again, folks are just still standing by, just watching everything that's happening now. And you see the new Type 6s, Type 6 engines or patrols that you see on the top left, bottom right. And then one of the newer engines right here to the bottom left as well. Next. And of course, enforcement, again, our rangers actually got up at Jogging Ranch or area, observed a person coming out there with their dirt bike. And again, we all know that these things can definitely spark up a fire. So the guy just dropped his bike there. The ranger did end up issuing a citation for off-roading and again, address the situation there. But again, this person, I believe it was one of the neighbors from down the street as well. So again, it's folks that are again around trying to think that it's okay, it's their backyard. But again, this is what we're trying to prevent any of these fires from happening. So next. So you all know that we've just acquired some property out in the Orange County. So this is the Randall Preserve. we needed to kind of get our eyes on what this site was going to be on the 4th of July. So it was actually my assignment early in the evening to get out there and see what it was. And I can tell you there was no shortage of fireworks shows, displays, everything around the preserve. So it'd be interesting to see what once this thing opens up to the general public. But again, as you can see, with the Rangers, we do use these slip-on units. The types again, they have water, they have pumps, and again, we are geared up for even when we get on these fires as well. So next. One of the items that was a big concern for our constituents along the Mulholland corridor was the universal overlook. We worked with our city partners as well to ensure that we kept this facility and this site here closed off. This is the first time this year that we ended up locking the entire park down overall, given the disastrous fires that hit us earlier in the year. So we, MRCA, ended up placing these barricades along the turnouts. The city of Los Angeles posted no stopping across the way, and this year we also chained the actual gate and set up staff there as well to ensure nobody was going to be hanging out there. This is a very highly populated overlook. This Universal Overlook. It oversees also Universal City, the Universal the theme park, and so they do set off the show. But again, most folks like to go out there, enjoy that view, and then on rare occasions, we have actually even confiscated and cited folks for setting off fireworks up in Mulholland. Again, these are folks that come from all over LA County to just come and visit. And even in this case, when we caught the person, he was from Oregon, who was bringing some really pretty cool fireworks that was up in the air. So we did catch that guy and cited him. So go ahead on the next one, please. Again, just our staff out there ensuring closing up overlooks before it starts getting dark and having vehicles inside of our overlooks. Go ahead next, please. And again, it's just fixing this. I believe this is top of Topanga here to your bottom or to your right, and just start prepping up for in the Topanga area. Next one. There's some of our staff firefighters, again, from the fire division, trying to catch a little bit of a fireworks show there on the bottom left. And I think that one right there, our executive director had passed by because, he even comes out there with us, had driven by, didn't see anyone in the cab, turns around thinking, make sure that they're okay. But he did not see that they were actually on top of the cab of the vehicle there, just enjoying the view and making sure that no fire started. So again, it was again, we still go out there and try to at least catch some glimpse of some fireworks show. Next. And there's our staff there gearing up. Next. And so again, just a show of definitely showing flying the flag for the MRCA from all these constituents. This is top of Reseda here. Next. Again, just prepping work. You can see it from the far right, the amount of vehicles that do come and visit because they want to see that city lights, get that skyline view. And you'll see on the next, I believe the next one's the final one. You'll see the beautiful view that, again, some folks do set off some illegal fireworks, but away from the parks. And go to the next one. Oh, that's not it. LA City, the bottom right, LA City did have their camp crew. They're newly acquired, actually full-time firefighters who are who are pretty much doing any of the hand crew work, sawing, cutting line. Literally, these guys are doing a lot of their work. They do team up with our agency firefighters as well, and they go out and fight these fires out there. Next. There's our staff out there, again, our maintenance folks on patrol and posting up at the top of Lopez Canyon. Next. And there's our final one. Again, you see the fireworks not too far away from the top of Reseda. And again, somebody was setting off some really spectacular show there. So that's, for what it's worth, it's that's what the folks are just getting at. But again, our staff is out there and we will, like I said, we remain out there till when it's actually really late out there. So that is the end of it. If anyone has any questions, we can definitely answer. If not, thank you very much for your time. Okay.
Yeah, quick comment, actually, and appreciate your report, Chief Gomez, and the fact that the public sees MRCA trucks, personnel, et cetera, out there. all day, it makes a big impact. And it's a positive impact for sure. And also it's probably a deterrent for others that who would little mischief of fire, setting off fireworks and so forth. So Chief Gomez, you and the staff, thank you so much for all that you do and the efforts that you put forth to protect our community. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Over the 4th of July holiday, how many citations would you say that were given out? Is that something you already have or still need to process?
I believe we need to process, but again, this year it was maybe about a dozen. Most of the folks we were trying to discourage a lot of that. We're trying to get more of the compliance this go around. And again, what we had to focus, we really, we have to pick and choose our battles given the limited resources for as a backup if something goes really wrong. So we will, we kind of pick and choose them. So if anything has to do with smoking, setting off fireworks, we will definitely engage those automatically. But something where we would normally get somebody for, say, alcohol, we might actually consider maybe not that and just either get the designated driver to drive away from them. But again, we would try to focus on a little bit more of a hazard at the time.
Well, I know a lot of fire impacted communities would definitely like education, deterrence, but also citations, enforcement. So, and I've seen the fireworks shows. I know there's no way to stop it all. So I appreciate all you do.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for that presentation. Much appreciated. Next, we'll move on to the Mountains Recreation Conservation Authority report.
Thank
Joe
you.
or George, is there anything, we got our memo handed to us today and sent over to us. Is there anything above and beyond your
Primary report, I was just gonna give a little additional information. You may see that in the report, Touch a Truck. I don't know if all of you know what Touch a Truck is all about, but the MRCA has been providing units, trucks, et cetera, for 20 plus years. And the Caneo-Recan Park District is one of the beneficiaries of their sending their trucks out to a community event where young kids can climb and jump on the equipment and ask questions and so forth. It's a great PR and a great experience for the young kids of our community. So thank you, MRCA. And if you're in a community that doesn't have a community event and would like to have MRCA equipment, especially our new Type 3 fire engines at your event, please contact our staff. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Next is the Santa Clarita Watershed Recreation and Conservation Authority report.
Nothing to report tonight.
Thank you. Wildlife Corridor Conservation Authority report.
No report.
Thank you. Moore Park Watershed Parks Recreation and Conservation Authority report.
No report.
Okay, or reports by staff. I think we just had one here. I don't believe there's another, so we'll go to questions to staff.
I have one. We've talked about it on and off. We've had other things that have been more pressing, but I would like to get an update on our Malibu Beaches app, if we could, in the next month or two or something like that. Maybe not next month because the summer's still going on, but maybe in the fall would be great, just to sort of get a sense of how many folks are using it. Again, the idea of English, Spanish, and translation, all that kind of stuff. So it'd be great just to get an update on where we are with usage of that app that we purchased several years ago. Thank you.
I'd love to know more about the app. It's the first time I'm hearing about it.
It's a free app you can download to help people find to access our beaches because of the challenges of finding access points and stuff. And it's restricted to Malibu. It's not the whole coast. But you can click on it and it'll say, here's this place, here's how much parking is here.
It's terrific.
That kind of stuff.
What's it called?
It's called Our Malibu Beaches.
Oh, you are like our?
Correct.
That's
correct.
great. Has the city, have you gotten any support from the city of Malibu, or are you guys just?
We would love support from the city of Malibu for that. So it was started, it was an independent effort. And then when they were having some challenges, we stepped in and acquired it to make sure it maintained a public free status. But I just would be great to get an update on that at some point.
I would love an update and to talk more maybe offline about it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna explore it.
Yeah.
Thank
it's
you.
Great.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have comments, members' comments on matters not on the agenda. And I know, Irma, you'd expressed the desire to make a comment earlier in the meeting, so wanted to give you the opportunity now.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
This is a different kind of report you're going to hear from me. As you know, I run a nonprofit called Mujeres de la Tierra, and we're located on the first floor of this beautiful room that we're here at the River Center. Life has changed for all the residents here and in many other places in the city of Los Angeles. The Home Depot that they first had the immigration raids happened to be the one that's right down the street from us. They've had 2 immigration raids, and the last one was last week with a lot of helicopters. There's been a lot of impact to our nonprofit. We need to pivot, and we want to pivot, not strictly with our environmental agenda that we have done and our programming, but the streets are empty. There's no one at the market. There's no one in churches. There's no people anywhere, including our parks, which is where they need parks now more than ever for purposes of the mental anguish that they've been going through. It became very personal to me when 2 weeks ago I was stopped by 2 gentlemen who did not have uniforms and asked me for my identification. I told them I would show my identification if they would identify themselves. And they immediately pulled out their badges from their pockets, and I pulled out my passport from my purse, which I've been carrying for 6 months. So what I want to tell you is that in some places, life is going on, but for many of us, life has stopped. I mean, it's very cruel what's taking place. It reminds me of what used to take place in the 1950s, for those of you who are old enough to or read history about it. But we have a large Latino immigrant community in many of the areas that we serve, and we want to continue with the parks. So when it is possible and safe to visit them, they can. We opened up La Esquinita, and people are using that as refuge from hiding from immigration when they're at Home Depot. We're going to open another little park, but if you can, send good wishes and prayers and good thoughts for all of the people who are living with such fear in their hearts and their heads. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from either body?
I have one. I just wanted to try to maybe respond to that with a positive tone, which is that I'm always happy and blessed and fortunate with this group. And one example of this is the fantastic networks that we have. So we're just starting a 2-week wildfire recovery class that should have been about 30 or 40 people, that was funded by the federal government. That was all pulled. All that funding was removed about 7 weeks ago. But we persist. We're still going on. The class is smaller than we otherwise would have, but even with that smaller group of participants, we're going to spend the next couple of weeks doing stuff. And many of the projects that we're doing are because of my colleagues here around the table. So either directly from suggestions from you all, or from contacts that you've shared with me. Much more effective than reaching out to these organizations cold. They don't always call back, but when you help me contact people, it is much more effective, and it's fantastic. So on behalf of the work that we're trying to do, I think that in times of stress, just like Irma's saying, it's fantastic to have this group that knows the true nature of community and building and doing good stuff. And we're all doing good stuff. So I wanted to thank everybody on behalf of my students and our partners we're working with. Thanks, you guys.
Okay, thanks, Sean.
I'm sorry to hear that happened to you. I've never thought of needing to carry my passport walking down the street, and that's heartbreaking to hear.
I just wanted to make comments as well. Irma, thank you so much for sharing, because like you said, life has stopped for some folks. I live in Camarillo. I mention this because I was there at the raids that happened. And one of the things that I try bringing it back to is is, like you said, the refuge that parks bring and the necessity of it being a space for mental health and ensuring that it's a place that is available to everyone. And I know sometimes the question is, what do parks play in all of this? And Chairman Veras, you at the last meeting, you brought that home for me. So I just wanted to say thank you to you both for vocalizing this, because it trickles down to every single person and it touches every part of our life.
Yeah, I'd like to piggyback on that too. Thank you, Irma. In the city of Moore Park, we're one of the first cities that sponsored a immigrants resources workshop that we had a number of people come down to the city council, myself included, to complain that the city needed to do something to help the people in our community, because we had huge raids in our city as well. And it was good that they decided to go ahead and do something. And within a week and a half, we had a workshop at which there have already been 200 people that have been served by that workshop, 70 of them live, about 50 of them online, both in English and Spanish. And if you go to the city's Moore Park's website, and if you want to see something, because the staff really did a great job of getting the different nonprofit organizations together to put a face to everything that's happening, which is horrible. But we have 805 on DocuFund. We had legal people, lots of different organizations, Buen Vecino, for people that are familiar with Ventura County. Everybody pitching in and trying to tell people. And I work with a bunch of volunteers, and we went and spread flyers all over the Latino communities about the workshop. And when we did that, the people in those neighborhoods were really happy that we came to tell them about it. And they were very supportive. And while most of them didn't come in person because they were afraid, they did watch on the television or on the replays. And so it is a resource. If it hasn't been done in your community yet, it's worth taking a look at. If I have anything to say about it, it won't be the last thing our city does.
Karen.
Another community that's being impacted by all of this are the South Asians. I spent 2 years in the Peace Corps in South Asia and Malaysia, actually. So I pay close attention to this community in Orange County. And last Friday, I was in Artesia along Pioneer Boulevard, and I couldn't believe what I saw. I saw emptiness amongst the people that you would normally see everywhere on a Friday night. So we have many communities that are affected, as well as our Latino communities. I grew up in El Monte, so I pay attention to that community as well. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments? And thank you for all of you that have made comments so far, and I'm sure there's lots of thoughts. But seeing no more comments, we'll close that item. And I wanted to hand over the meeting to Mr. Maloney for some instructions on the last item here, which is closed session.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Conservancy will have a closed session to discuss 2 items of pending litigation. Just to note, this is just the Conservancy Board itself, so advisory committee members do not need to participate, or you can stick around and you can hear a very, very brief announcement.
Jeff, can you speak into the mic, please?
Trying to, sorry. Better? Is that better?
Much better, thanks.
Just advising that the board will be meeting in closed session, but the advisory committee does not need to stay for this. Closed session is only for the board itself. So we'll have a very short announcement after closed session, but there's no need, because I don't believe there will be any business conducted after the closed session.
Okay. Any information on future meetings, or?
I don't have any to offer off my agenda here. Actually, no, I do.
Oh, you do?
Take
Good,
that
good.
back. So for those that will leave before closed session, our next meeting is scheduled for August 18th.
Thanks.
So, Mr. Chair,
Also, for members online who would like to return after the closed session, you may please add your name and number to the Q&A box, and we will let you know when it's safe to come back in.
so just for the record, the Conservancy Board will be meeting in closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 11126E. This is to discuss two items of pending litigation: Goldberg versus Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy.
Thanks, everybody.
I was just checking.
Yes, right. Their fire division made special cookies. Everyone take one.
Probably what we did was, that was the part time that we had.
Patricia, if you're still there, can you please log out?
So it was water.
Thanks, Ryan.
Firefighters and part of our. Yeah. I thought they were gonna do that upper.
Doing it right now, Jay.
Yeah, that north of Sacramento. I couldn't remember. Sides River Reservoir, I guess. Carrying the water committee for 8 years. I should know that.
How are we looking, James and Willie?
I think we are almost there. I'm just gonna lock the webinar. Okay, Jeff.
If there's anybody in the doors, but I guess we can open the online at the very least.
There are no members who signed up to come back, so
Okay.
we have
So then-
unlocked the webinar and we are ready to close the closed session. Jeff, if you can make that
Yep.
out.
We'll go ahead and close. The Conservancy Board met in closed session to discuss the two items of pending litigation: Goldberg versus SMMC, two cases that was subject or pursuant to Section 11126E of the Government Code.
Okay, good. So with that, and if there's no objections, we'll stand adjourned. Our next meeting, August 18th. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Let's litigate.
Welcome shoes. Thank you.
That would be awesome.
I'm sorry to hear about that. Pretty tragic.
Yeah.